Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 16 of Around the World in 80 Tours. My name is the Lorekeeper, and here today we are in Atlanta, Texas, and this is our third stop in the United States, our third consecutive stop, and I promise it'll be the last one at least for this season, which I'm going to start separating the series into seasons like every other show in the entire world. So we've got season one, it's episodes 1 through 20, and then it continues on that same pattern until we've reached 80 episodes. So we're in Atlanta, Texas today, and this town is actually a little bit special because it's actually my hometown. Yep, the hometown of your favorite host and your dear friend, the Lorekeeper. So there's plenty to see here, but I don't have a whole lot of time because I've been having some technical difficulties where videos above a certain length just like can't save or something. No matter what I do, it's just not working. So we're gonna speed run this tour real quick. So here in downtown, you'll see a bunch of small businesses owned by locals. We've got Cafe Crema over there. We've got Uncle One's. We've got this little plaza right over here. This little nice area that can where'd it go? Nope, went too far. This little nice area that can be like rented out for events and stuff. I spent the first 11 years of my life here in this town, and then the next 11 years in Linden, Texas, which is about 15 minutes from here, I guess, maybe less. Um, right over here, or rather over here, we can find, well, that mural, of course. I think that's pretty new. We see Atlanta was founded here in 1872, so good long while ago. But we'll head on over this way, I guess. You'll see as we look around here that we do have a lot of small businesses here in Atlanta, and the locals do a pretty good job of supporting them to help them stay open even in hard times. One of my favorites is right over here. It's the Rabbit Patch. It's a nice little diner style restaurant. It's got burgers, fries, hot dogs too, I think. My personal favorite, the BLT. Uh, Milkshakes just to die for. Doesn't quite bring the boys to the yard, but it does get them in the restaurant, so that's good enough, right? We've got the public library down the street over there. I'm not gonna bother going that way because everything I like is like over here in this area. No offense to the library, but like that's all that's down there. And we've got my favorite business. A little far again. We've got the Rabbit Hole. It's a nice little antique store. I say little, but once you get inside, it's a lot bigger than what it looks. They've got like vintage comic books, old toys, old books, bunch of DVDs, VHS tapes even. We've got this old movie theater over here, which it's been over here for decades upon decades, but it also hasn't been open in decades upon decades. As to whether or not it's ever gonna turn into anything ever again, who's to say for sure, other than the family that owns it? But I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of like rushing through this a little bit because I want to get an episode uploaded. But until I get these technical difficulties worked out, I have to really pick up the pace. Atlanta is also home to like a bunch of famous people, including the general manager of the Green Bay Packers. Well, former general manager, who I actually went to school with his nephew. Uh, it's also home of Bessie Coleman, who was a famous pilot back in the day. She was the first Native American to get a pilot license, or international pilot license. Um, Over here we've got Brookshire's grocery store, which is actually part of a chain. But fun fact, I actually used to work here, and so did my grandmother. She worked here for 20 years before she retired. She enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. She enjoyed it, I enjoyed it, and it's a nice little store. Very old-fashioned customer service, so like really premium, full service, or it was when I worked there. And over here we've got one of my other favorite businesses, Awaken Nutrition. This place has got like caffeinated tea, like energizing tea. Um, I would drink a lot of them when I worked over here at Berkshire's. Then this other little little shop here, this is new. This wasn't here when I lived here. But this specific lot was home to quite a few things before this shop moved in. Around the 90s to early to mid 2000s, it was called Movie Gallery. It was like Blockbuster, but not quite as big a chain. And it shut down to, I want to say like around 2008, maybe. Um, but then it became Roman's Pizza, which was really good. Had a little arcade back there toward the back of the building. Was always fun. I played the Star Trek game a lot. Uh, then it closed down, and I think that's when it became Pizza on Main. So it just went over to new ownership and different recipe for the pizza, I suppose. Unfortunately, that one did close down back in 2021, I suppose. And then I suppose it became the smoke shop here, which best of luck for that, because this area has kind of been a revolving door for businesses the last few years. But right over here, we've got the rest of the shopping center. We've got Flint's Furniture, Factory Connection, Family Dollar. Of course, there's one of those around every corner. Uh, got a Shell gas station down there. Of course, it's never too hard to find one of those. But yeah, we've got also here we've got, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but Drew Stubbs, the baseball player, he's from here, and Ellen DeGeneres is from here, which yeah, take that however you want to. It's a fact. But yeah, pretty much everything there is to see is just right here downtown, which of course I can't end the episode without going down here to talk about this museum right over here, which, if I remember correctly, they have Bessie Coleman's plane in this museum, because she died in a plane crash, unfortunately. And sorry guys, I really am. I usually wouldn't rush like this, but it is what it is. Over here too, we've got the prisoner of war slash missing in action memorial. Uh, Pretty self-explanatory. Over the course of any war, you're gonna have people taken prisoner or some people who just disappear altogether. So this has been here for a long time to help memorialize those and mourn them. And people come over here a lot just to hang out, chill, and it's a good spot. Overall, Atlanta, Texas is very much a very comfortable town. Uh, it's very quaint. A lot of it kind of looks almost exactly the same as it must have in like the 90s or so, the 80s, the 90s. Also down here we've got our post office way over there, but we've also got Luigi's Italian restaurant, which is really good. If you're ever in the area, do give it a try, because it is kind of hard to find good Italian food in small towns a lot of the time, but they pull it off nicely. Of course, if you're more of a seafood person, we've got Rogaro over there, Cajun seafood. Um, Very nice. I've eaten there like once or twice. That's pretty good. There's that library again, by the way. But yeah, downtown Atlanta is the home of all the like locally owned businesses, so I definitely recommend going through there and supporting them if ever you're in the area. Of course, On Highway 59, you're going to find all the bigger corporations. We've got McDonald's, Burger King, Starbucks, Little Caesars around here somewhere. That's pretty new. Pizza Hut, Domino's, Sonic, all the major chains right there in one area. So you definitely have your pick, even if it doesn't really feel like it sometimes. Um, but yeah, this has been the very, very quick episode of Around the World in 80 Tours, episode 16. Um, like I said, I'm really sorry that, oh wow, this image hasn't been updated since 2008. How about that? So if you look around, you can see how this area looked in 2008. And then we're just going to step right back over here for a second. And you can see it looks almost exactly the same. So, like, where did I find that spot? The 2008 time warp? So, yeah, 2008, you see that same jeweler right over there. And you see this area pretty much entirely unchanged. A couple things are missing that are there now, like the rabbit patch, but you see that train car, that's been there forever. Likewise, the museum, of course, which I've never been in there, but I really need to. But we'll hop back into our other time zone right now. That was a really neat thing to discover right there. Of course, you see the jewelers, you see everything downtown pretty much exactly the same way. So Atlanta doesn't necessarily go through change that often, but when it does, it is kind of neat to observe. So I was 7 years old when this picture was taken. Now I'm 25, so that's something to deal with. Nice little flashback in this area real quick. But anyway, this has been the mildly rushed episode 16 of Around the World in 80 Tours. I can get away with a shorter episode because this is my hometown, and I can just kind of like breeze through everything real quick. I don't have to do a whole bunch of research because I know it already. Um, but I thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, talk about it with your friends, get them to binge watch the rest of the episodes. It, a good time will be had by all. But also in the episode description, you'll find a link to my Cash App, which that's the Tip Your Tour Guide feature. So if you had a good time and you're enjoying the series and you liked watching me fumble around to try to get this episode done, you can absolutely leave me a tip. You absolutely don't have to, but any little bit would really help me out. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode, whenever that might be, because I've got some things going on in my life that I kind of got to sort through. So we will get there when we get there. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. End transmission.